Okay, so friends, now we going so next part for Cisco DNA Center IP address management provider integration. Just before we have covered the topic Cisco DNA Center platform overview, API lifecycle, release notes. Now I am talking about Cisco DNA Center IP address management provider integration. This document provides an overview and RESTful API specification for an external IP address management IPAM provider service for integration with a Cisco DNA Center. Cisco DNA Center ships with a fully functional internal IPAM services. All IP address conflicts detection and pool reservation is done by the Cisco DNA Center IPM services. This Cisco DNA Center may optionally use an external or third-party IP address manager IPAM provider for the purpose of working with externally managed IP addresses and IP address pools. This provides for a better integration with an externally resources and enables more efficient use of IP scope. Cisco DNA Center's internal IPAM service provides its own internal interface and services. These are then transformed internally to use external services as needed. IP address conflicts detection and IP pool reservation is executed internally by the Cisco DNA Center IPAM service. Two third-party integration modules are included in Cisco DNA Center as shipped. One for IPAM provider info blocks and one for BlueCat. Other IPAM providers may be configured for use with Cisco DNA Center by providing an IPAM provider REST API service that meets the Cisco DNA Center IPAM provider specification. Cisco DNA Center IPAM East West clients internal IPAM service IPAM DB IPAM API request IPAM API response IPAM provider API IPAM provider workflow. Cisco DNA Center receives a request to reserve an IP pool or assign an IP address and forwards the request to the Cisco DNA Center internal IPAM services module. Cisco DNA Center IPAM services validates the request and checks for overlapping pools or finding the next available subnet. If configured with an external IPAM provider, Cisco DNA Center IPAM services will request corresponding services from the IPAM provider and will transform the response back to the Cisco DNA Center IPAM service caller. On the event of failure or error, the request will be rolled back and the caller request will be denied. IPAM provider integration requirements. Cisco IPAM provider must provide the complete Cisco IPAM provider REST API including error handling as described by this guide. Cisco DNA Center must be version 1.2.2.6 or later. Configuration. Third party IPAM provider configuration is the Cisco DNA Center GUI interface. This may be done during this first time and administrator login wizard or from the settings page. The configuration page can be found at Cisco DNA Center System Settings IP Address Manager or at the bottom of the DNA Center System 360 page. Cisco DNA Center System Settings IP Address Manager configuration values. Configuration a two-step process. The first step consists of entering the name, API URL, credentials and provider type. Server name, enter a useful descriptive label or name for this external provider used for internal identification only. Server URL, enter the full API service URL, root, username, password, provider. Select generic if integrating with an IPAM service provider presenting a Cisco IPAM service provider API. Select info blocks or bluecat if using with one of the pre-installed integration modules. Once these parameters are entered, the Cisco DNA Center will initiate connection authentication with a post IPAM token, and then using the token obtained issue an API request for a list of views using the get IPAM view. The IPAM provider must provide at least one view. A view can be thought of as discrete definition of or configuration spaces. They are called views in the info blocks UI and configurations. In the bluecat UI, once one or more views are obtained, the view list will be displayed as a selector in the IPAM configuration page. The second step is selection of a single view. Select a single view or complete the IPAM provider configuration. When the IPAM provider integration is confirmed by the Cisco DNA Center, a success system message is displayed in the UI and the IPAM provider is displayed in the Cisco DNA Center in the system 360 tab. For more information, configuration system setting, architecture. Okay, guys, so that is a completely concept of the IPM API introduction, a Cisco DNA Center IP address management provider integration. Okay, and now I'm going on the IPAM API reference. Okay, so that is the API reference, like IPM API is like that is IPM assigning IPM IP pool view, get pool, like this you can see here. So that is reference APIs, and show height list of expandable view, like this JSON format. Okay, so that's like IPM API introduction, that is a reference APIs here. Okay guys, so you can see the HTTP status code 201, 202, 204, 206, 2040, 401, 403, 404, 409 and 40. That is like different reason, that is post put request was fulfilled and new resource has been created, information about this. So you can see here IPAM API post implementation notes, assign IP address in external IPM. Okay, so you can see here reference, this is the reference API, and response content type is this in JSON format, and response messages, like we can guard the code, the 201, the post put request was fulfilled and new resource has been created, information about the resources in the response body. 202, the request was accepted for processing, but the processing has not been completed. The request was successful, however no content was returned. 206, the get request included a range header and the server response with the partial content matching the range. 4000, the client made a request that the server could not understand. For example, the request syntax is incorrect. 401, the client authentication credentials include with the request are missing or invalid. 403, the server recognize the authentication credentials, but the client is not authorized to perform this request. 404, the client made a request for a resource that does not exist. 409, the target resource is in a conflicted state. For example, an edit conflict where a resource is being edited by multiple users. Retrying the request later might succeed. 4015, the client sent a request body in a format that the server does not support, for example XML, to server that only accepts JSON. 5000, the server could not fulfill the request. 501, the server has not implemented the functionality required to fulfill the request. 403, the server is temporarily unavailable. 404, server did not respond inside time restriction and timeout. So that is completely the status code of the API reference APIs. Now you can see the get API. Get, okay, pull, delete, put, delete, post, delete, put, post, get. So you can see here the different reference of the APIs, and like this we can see the according to this IPAM reference APIs. Now we go to come in notification, event notifications. Okay, we discuss about the event Cisco DNA Center release. Cisco DNA Center release. Okay, workflow, IPM provider integration, configuration, Cisco Center system setting, IP address manager configuration values. View, and also IPM reference APIs, also IPM references API with different status code like 201, 202, 204, 201, 202, 204, 206, 400, 401, 403, 404, 409, 415, 500, 501, 503, 503, 504, event notifications. Now we're going to the new event notification. Okay, new event notification is event notification. Understanding events. Cisco DNA events are incidents such as loss of connectivity, device unavailability, internal system error, or threshold met of accident. Cisco DNA Center platform events are a subset of DNA Center assurance issues. Uh, understanding events. Understanding events. Talk about the understanding events like Cisco DNA events. Yeah, like this Cisco DNA events and Cisco DNA Center. Like platform provides a framework to store and deliver information of events. Information about each occurrence can be learned using just DNA Center GUI or in combination with the developer toolkit API. Intent API information is displayed directly in the GUI using synchronized API request or by establishing a synchronous notification to API notification endpoints or email address. For each selected event, notification may be configured to be done by email or via a REST API call to an external REST based event listener. Once an event is configured in this way, it is set to be subscribed by a notification listener. When subscribed by email, when a selected event occurs, an email message is sent. When subscribed for API notification, if a selected event is detected, a REST API post or put call is made by the Cisco DNA Center to the event listener with a JSON payload providing detailed event information. Notification via REST API method provided by the requester is commonly referred to as webhook, callback, or sometimes just webhooks. Starting with release 1.3.1, Cisco DNA Center significantly improved the event notification framework. Clients now receive rapid, lightweight client notification with minimal latency. Issue enrichment that's previously available in another package have been added to Intent API to support drill down in the order. Synchronized methods have been added to provide information on past event occurrence. Event definition. Events are defined with attributes that include a textual definition, a domain, subdomain, classification, type, directory, severity, and workflow. Event attributes can be viewed and edited in the Cisco DNA Center GUI at platform, manage, configuration, central settings, event settings. Event attributes are set internally and not administrator modifiable. Domains and subdomains. Domains and subdomains. Authentication, know your network, site management, connectivity, operational task, policy, event management, type, category, severity, workflow, timestamp. HTTPS proxy gateway. Event. Hmm. 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 Event setting can be used to review but not modify attributes value. It displays a table of defined events along with a summary of each. Values for event name, domain type, category, severity and workflow. The edit action button should be ignored as modification to attribute values will be ignored. Notification subscription management. Subscription management UI. Event, general information, model schema, code snippet, intent API, methods. Intent API methods. Subscription methods. Process steps. Using Cisco DNA Center GUI, subscribe for Webhook API notification using the GUI. Create a Webhook API listener endpoint accessible from your Cisco DNA Center. Identify, confirm and appreciate API callback endpoint. These examples use Webhook site, a publicly available development site. Webhook site generates a unique endpoint along with a unique HTML web page that parses and displays the received message. The API webhook URL will be of the form such as the corresponding monitoring webhook site GUIs. Platform developer toolkit events, Cisco DNA Center developer toolkit, API CPU high utilization. Observe and record the associated event ID. Observe and note the event attribute schema and detailed. Click on subscribe lower right. Leave subscription types as rest. Using the intent API, subscribe for Webhook API notification intent API. Follow steps 1 through 3 as above. Start an authenticated API session. Confirm API and event accessibility, and process by issuing a get event request. PI like DNAC DNA intent API. When take this assurance this, tag is assurance network event ID this, and get data like this. Notification. Synchronize event occurrence. Get event series. Event series list. Intent API get issue enrichment method. Additional resources. event notification via webhooks. The Cisco DNA Center platform includes a framework for callback notification to event listener of selected events. For each selected event, notification may be configured to be done by email or a RESTful API call to an external REST-based event listener. Event API notification is configured when an event is subscribed by one or more notification listener. When subscribe for API notification, if a selected event is detected, uh, the Cisco DNA Center notification framework uses REST API post call by JSON payload. Getting started like this. Webhook callback sometimes just webhooks event notification for both email and this. Okay, good work. Center notification Cisco issues API post callback payload.
ऐसे राम जिनके जीवन की यात्रा दशरथ नंदन राम से प्रारंभ होकर समस्त लोक धारक राम तक पहुंचती है।
कंफर्म
ऐसे राम।
हाँ भैया लाइट है कि नहीं?